All right. Well, the abortion pill is far more dangerous than the FDA would have you believe, according to a new bombshell study. The FDA says that Mifepristone, or Mifeprex is the brand name, has less than 0.5% of negative reactions for women that take it. But this new study says that's not true by a long shot. This comes from the Ethics and Public Policy Center, or EPPC. The authors say that this is a Category 5 hurricane for the abortion industry because they are hiding this from women. Now, one of the authors joins us today. Jamie Bryan Hall is one of the authors, and he joins us to discuss. Dr. Hall, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on your show.
So tell us about what the FDA would have us believe about the abortion pill, that it's just as simple as a Tylenol, and what you found.
Well, the FDA, as you said, claims that less than 0.5% of women who take this drug will experience a severe adverse reaction. But in reality, when we look at insurance claims data for 7 years, from 2017 to 2023, what we find instead is that 10.93% of the women who take this drug experience a severe adverse event, such as infection that could lead to sepsis, hemorrhaging that could lead to the need for a blood transfusion. About half the women who experience a serious adverse event will find themselves in the ER or in the hospital after taking the drug. This is real world data from an insurance claims database with over 865,000 abortions. This is not a controlled clinical trial. This is the experience of actual women who are taking this drug in America today, who are being misled by the information on the drug label.
You also found what you call life-threatening mental health diagnosis. What is that?
So some women, of course, after taking the drug, realizing what they've gone through, what's happening inside of them, could experience a mental health issue that might lead them to consider suicide. So that is one of the many serious or life-threatening complications that we consider in our study. We're following the FDA's definition of a serious adverse event more closely than they did when they allowed this drug to be approved for use here in America today.
You know, I come from the legacy media, spent many years in the legacy media, and it seems like the legacy media, I mean, we know they're liars, but they really love the idea of the ease of abortion and how easy it is, and there's no complications, and they push this narrative. You could watch CBS, you could watch CNN, you could watch all of the liberal media. They really push this idea that, you know, no harm, no foul. You get pregnant. No, it's very easy. Just pop a pill and you're good to go. That's a total lie. Are you surprised that the media pushes this narrative?
Oh, not at all. That's what they've been doing for years. Clinton, in his campaign back in 1992, promised to bring this drug from France to the United States. And by the end of his administration in 2000, the FDA had approved this drug, but they had never at any time required a randomized controlled trial to be able to look and see what the effects of this drug on women are compared to women who do not take the drug. They didn't follow their normal procedures for drug approval, even from the beginning. And then they've just been working to chip away at the safety protocols that were put in place in 2000 ever since then.
Right. Let's show this chart that you put in your study about how every Democratic administration in the last 20 years has eased access to this pill. So when Clinton launched it to the market, you had to have 3 in-person visits, have at least 7 weeks pregnancy, not more. And there were restrictions in place. But then Obama and then subsequently Biden just made it easier and easier. And so how can we as women have informed consent about something that's so easy if we're not given the truth? Can you speak to why Democratic presidents have done this and how it's a disservice to women?
Well, they've definitely prioritized access to abortion ahead of women's health. That's no surprise, given the importance of the ability to have consequence-free sexual activity to the left in general. But particularly in this case, they've allowed they've allowed women to be told, yeah, this is safer than Tylenol, when that's just absolutely untrue. You have a tenth of women who are taking this drug having a serious adverse event. Half of those are ending up in the hospital. Tylenol, I mean, maybe 1 in 10,000 or so people who take Tylenol would have a serious adverse reaction. It's absurd what they're telling women, and then what they're even putting on the drug label. This claim of less than 0.5% serious adverse reaction, when they know it's not true, but they want to make sure that abortion is available to any woman in any circumstance. They want that to be the answer to all of her problems, when it's not. It harms women, and women need to know that there are better options than abortion. And the FDA really, really needs to reconsider both putting back into place the safety protocols that you showed on that chart earlier, but also just look at their approval of Mifepristone in the first place. Reconsider whether this should even be on the market.
Right.
You said you're going to be doing other investigations here. This is just the tip of the iceberg in your studies. What other things or long-term effects are you going to be looking at as you unpack this even further? And by the way, any members of Congress coming forward and saying, hey, we need to hold like a hearing on this. We need to press the FDA. Where's RFK Jr. in this?
We've definitely already had multiple members of Congress, including Senator Josh Hawley, right away put out a letter calling on the FDA to look into this. We anticipate that there will be more here in the coming weeks. I would expect that there would be hearings. Dr. McCary, who leads the FDA now, has promised to review all data coming out on the safety of this drug and to reconsider based on new evidence. Well, here's the evidence that you need to reconsider this approval.
Right. In a lot of my research, I've come across theories that abortion increases a woman's risk of breast cancer. And as you pull that thread, you start to see how political this research is, because there is research that shows that abortion is related to increased incidence of breast cancer. And then you see all of these studies saying, not really, we can't actually make that conclusion because association doesn't mean causation. And so how can you get around such political research in abortion? How do we do that?
Well, first of all, we avoided the peer review process because we knew that was so politicized. What we're doing instead is we're calling on any other organization that would like to replicate our study to just let us know. We'll work with you. We'll show you exactly what we did. If you have access to the data, we'd encourage you to look at it as well. You'll find the same thing, publish that, and we'll have more information out there for women to make an informed decision, and importantly for the FDA to make an appropriate decision, given the risks of this drug to women. There's no way that this should be on the market. Certainly, there's no way that a woman should be able to just fill out a questionnaire online, basically claiming that she's healthy and that her pregnancy is not too far along, and get the pill in the mail a few days later, take it at home without any involvement from a doctor whatsoever, and just hope that everything works out okay. Everything's not working out okay under this policy, and the FDA really needs to reconsider.
Yeah, and they're publicly traded companies, right? They're up on the New York Stock Exchange. You can go and invest in these companies that are doing this and have this government backdoor protection. It's really sick and disgusting. Where have we heard this before? COVID?
Yeah.
Jamie Bryan Hall, one of the authors of this study, thank you for the incredible work.
And please come back and tell us about your subsequent studies as well, because women are certainly not getting the full story. We cannot give informed consent if we don't know this. So please come back another time.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.